So, everyone always wonder whether to buy antique cuirass or blade armor. Today we're gonna answer this question in this video, so stay until the end of the video. Thank you. So, in order to know which one to buy, we need to know how they work and what they do. We're gonna start with the blade armor. So, first of all, blade armor gives us 17 physical defense and has two unique abilities. The first one is 20% crit damage reduction, and the other one is bladed armor, which is kind of a damage reflection. We're gonna talk about it later in the video. But let's see how does this crit damage reduction work. So as you can see, we are dealing 668 critical damage before buying the blade armor. But after we buy the blade armor, the things are gonna be whole lot different. Let's check it out. So now we buy the blade armor for our practice dummy and we see that our damage goes from 668 to 364. That's almost 40% damage reduction. Now I don't know how the numbers in this game works or how does this function, but that's what we got. But you have to pay attention. This only works on critical damages. Non-critical damages won't get decreased. So basically the second ability of blade armor is damage deflection. When you deal some damage, you also receive some damage, as you can see. Now, this damage is dependent on two things. The first one is our physical attack. If we go and buy another blade of despair and increase our physical attack, as you can see, our received damage goes from 121 to 161. And the second thing is the enemy's physical defense. So if we go and buy some physical defense for our enemy, our received damage goes from 161 to 175. So now it's time for antique. First, it gives you 920 HP, 40 physical defense, and 4 HP regen, and has a unique ability. When hit by a skill, reduces the attacker's physical damage by 6%. This effect stacks up to 3 times. That means overall it can reduce the attack of enemy by 18%. So let's see how does it work. So we're gonna do a saber spoon rotation and we see that we deal damage equal to 8660. And now we'll buy the antique and we'll see that we deal damage equal to 4452. That's almost half. But the thing that you should pay attention to, this red line. You see, when struck by a skill, that means when somebody comes and just basic attacks you, your antique is useless, completely useless. But when someone like Saber here or Freya here, who deal a lot of skill damage, come, and then you know that 80% of the physical damage is gonna be reduced. So now that we know how these items work, it's time to figure out when to buy these items. So whenever you're confused about whether buy the antique or the blade armor, you just only have to ask one question from yourself. Is the enemy gonna deal damage using skills or basic attacks? So if it's skills, then you should go buy antique. If it's basic attacks, you should go and buy the blade armor. Now that you guys seen the video until this far, please like, subscribe and leave a comment. I will much appreciate it. And also I have a little trick for you guys. So whenever you want to buy the antique, instead of buying the whole thing, just buy this little item called dreadnought armor, or as I like to call it, little antique. Why is that then? Why should we buy this item instead of the antique? Well, there are two main reasons. So first of all, the dreadnought armor does exactly the same thing as antique does, only just 2% less. So instead of 6% damage reduction and total of 18% damage reduction, you are gonna get 4% damage reduction and 12% overall damage reduction. So there's only 6% difference between antique and dreadnought armor, but dreadnought armor costs 730 golds, while the antique costs 2200 golds. So it's better to buy the dreadnought armor early on in the game and complete it later on when you have more gold to spend. Thank you for watching my video. If you have any questions about blade armor or antique or anything else, literally I will answer it in the comments. And give me a suggestion about the next item or the next two items I should compare, or I have in mind to compare Athena and Radiant. What's your idea? Tell me in the comments. Till our next video, bye.